Welcome to Duck Crossing. I am Duck Hunter 44, and with me is my co-host Joke.
Hey.
Here we are, episode 2 of Duck Crossing.
We're back. Made it to 2 episodes.
This is episode 2.
We're back. You've been keeping the weekly schedule.
Okay, so first off, before we start this, the weekly schedule, the Monday through Friday, has just been fantastic. I think.
Dude,
I think it's so cool coming home from work and just filming.
No, yeah, I mean, it's got to be great for you to just go right at it.
Oh, I love it.
I mean, yesterday was so...
That was such a fun video.
Hype. And Monday was great too.
Oh, yeah.
And that was just hey, let's just do this. It's kind of like doing this show. It's just hey, let's just do this.
Let's just film it.
Let's come up with an idea, something, and then we'll just go.
Right.
And that's the best way to do it. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. I mean, I had a ton of, I was thinking a lot about this.
This one today.
Well, since you mentioned it yesterday, yeah.
So today, as you can probably tell by the title or thumbnail of this Duck Crossing episode.
Oh, because we didn't have a name last time, right? It was just episode 1. So this time we get to have a name?
Possibly.
Oh.
So, today we are talking about games that we're playing on the Nintendo Switch now, games we enjoy now, and games we hope for in the future on the Nintendo Switch.
See, I already kind of shared what I was interested in with you.
Right.
So hopefully you had some time to think about it.
I mean, you guys know what I've been playing. It's been a lot of Fortnite, and I feel like that's a lot with a lot of people, even though that's not a Nintendo Switch exclusive or anything. But I just feel like Fortnite is just on top right now.
And that's kind of you. You're playing what people are playing. You're interested in what people are doing. You're kind of in with what's going on in the moment.
Right.
And I think that's a great part of the Switch is we're not only getting to play the newest stuff, which we never got to, being a Nintendo fan, you know that. We never got to have the new stuff right when it was out.
Especially on the Wii U.
It was a dream to potentially get it at some point after everybody was done with it. So now you get to play that stuff with everybody else at the same time, which is insane. And I mean, it's just such a new era. We're living in a new age right now. Where we get to see this stuff.
It's so different from the Wii U age. It's completely different. Yeah. When a console is succeeding like the Nintendo Switch, companies want their games on that console. I mean, I've never seen so many games in the eShop so early on a it's endless.
Well, even we were talking today, what the release schedule was last year.
Oh my gosh, it doesn't even compare.
It was one release per month, and it was pretty Nintendo-centric, most of all.
Right.
Now it's you're getting different developers. Every week you have different indie stuff. There's at least... And I think they want to fill up the eShop list with 20 games every week, and it's
every week there's something new on that eShop. I mean, every week, without a doubt, they're adding something new, which is just, it's awesome to see.
And it's hard to keep up with. You're going to miss some stuff. You know, you're just going to not have time to play it, or you're just going to forget it exists, or not even have heard about it.
Right. One thing I wanted to bring up, there was this game, I was just looking on the eShop for fun a little while ago, before we moved here, and I saw this game, Human Fall Flat. And I thought about this today, and I was like, why is this trending #1 on the Nintendo eShop, this Human Fall Flat game? Whatever, so I downloaded it, because I was like,
you got to.
It's got to be good.
If people are playing it, you want to know what's going on.
So I downloaded it, and then we started playing it, I'm like, is this Roblox on the Nintendo Switch?
Well, I don't really know what Roblox is.
Well, Roblox is kind of this dinky...
But isn't that like a community? You can
but
chat
this
with
is
people and stuff?
But this is that, but dumbed down, I think.
That, but just the physics-based.
The physics-based. How
around.
It's just so goofy. It's such a goofy game, and I'm like, how is this trending?
Do you have an answer to why?
I don't.
Okay. Yeah,
and I think it's just the kids love those types of games.
Maybe.
Go
figure that. But I mean, that's the long list of games that have had huge success on the Switch for whatever reason. And for me, a lot of stuff that I've got to enjoy on the Switch is things that I'm kind of catching up on, or maybe I might be double dipping or triple dipping on, because it's it just feels so good to play this on the Switch. Most recently it was Undertale, which they did a physical release, so we're as Nintendo fans are way into that.
Right.
And I played it before, but it's it works so well on here. Carol Blaster was another one I wanted to play. I just downloaded Minute because it was on sale, so I'm hoping to get into that. I've been playing Mega Man 11 most recently, so I've had a ton of fun with that. I like having my classic style Nintendo games, Sonic Mania, Bloodstained, just those classic games that I associated with Nintendo. They're new, and they're on the Nintendo Switch.
Right.
But they still scratch that itch of like, since we don't have Virtual Console, getting to play that type of stuff without.
Right. That and the Nintendo Switch Online. I haven't dived too deep. I don't know if you have. I haven't dived too deep into the whole
the
Nintendo
NES
Switch.
thing.
Yeah, the NES stuff.
Well, like I just recently played a lot of this stuff over on the NES Classic, just because like I was kind of just having fun with it. So I already played these recently, but I think it's a cool thing for people that may not be so familiar, or maybe missed out on the Classic, or maybe just didn't really play them, to be able to see like where does this stuff come from, like where does all of it originate. And there's a lot of stuff that does hold up well. Yeah. Some stuff doesn't, but I mean you could say that about a lot of games even now.
Of course. So games that really were eye openers, I think, to everyone was like Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild. I mean, those are the main ones. But like
easy.
The two that I really enjoyed would be now, of course, because we're talking about now, would be Fortnite and Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Really hit it home for me.
Yeah. So I remember that being such a huge thing for you
because Rabbids was one of the games, like the Rayman Raving Rabbids was like a game that I grew up with. So like having that come to the Switch and having it be so successful and so well done really made me happy. And the success of Ubisoft with that whole team that made that was just awesome.
Yeah, because like I hate to say it, but like a lot of times when Nintendo works with other companies, it doesn't work out very well for whatever reason. Whether the messaging between them didn't really work, or it just seems like they don't allow their partners to use the best abilities they have to do what would make sense. They're like kind of holding them back in one way or another. So yeah, it was really nice to see. And I mean, you were already a believer in Rabbids. So
of course,
like,
I was.
Like,
I mean, I was
them being in. I
was a supporter from the beginning when we saw that. I was just so thrilled to
I see that as being a big time of opening the door for Nintendo, where it's like they're willing to allow their characters to kind of step out of the comfort zone a little bit. I mean, it wasn't like guns, but it was like, special kind of things. And then like the silliness of the Rabbids, they played well off each other. And then the funny thing is, it's like it's a strategy game. So like it would be one thing if it was like a party game or like a Mario Party.
What they easily could have done.
Right.
They could have taken the easy way out and just...
That wasn't what it was about. It was like, let's make like a mechanically solid game and then use these characters that we haven't really used in this way.
And add content to it.
And it was successful.
At the time.
It worked.
It's great.
It worked well. And it's like, that's what you kind of see as the future, and what I was kind of thinking like towards the future, like what's the next step? A lot of this stuff is like, you just expect a sequel to be out.
Right.
That's not the traditional Nintendo approach. Like, you don't expect to see Splatoon 3. You don't expect to see Mario Kart 9. You don't expect to see Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 coming out in, like, the next couple of years. Like, this is a 5-year plus, maybe, type of thing. Maybe not for Rabbids. Because I'm hoping and thinking Rabbids will be a quicker turnaround.
They're coming back.
If they're not already... I mean, they must be working on it if they haven't already teased it.
Right.
So... that was kind of the thought I had for the future, because it's like we're just building the Switch now is off stuff that already existed.
Right.
Like things we already played, we may not have had the accessibility to, but now we do.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So Jack, of course, as we were talking today, kind of discussing what we were going to be talking about, Jack was talking about ARMS. Now, as all of you know, on the channel, I absolutely am not a fan of ARMS. Like, when we even made that video out there of ARMS, like, of course,
you mean when we played the game, the ARMS 2?
We played ARMS 2, yeah.
Well, I mean, don't tell Nintendo about this, but we did get an early copy of the game, so we did get to play it. But
if you'd like to see that video, I'll leave the bubble up in the corner.
So we already got to play the sequel. That's probably why I'm thinking about it a lot. But yeah, like,
ARMS.
That is my thing, because like you said, Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, like all this stuff, like, of course, that stuff is going to be, like, my favorite forever. Like, I'm going to love this stuff. But, like, ARMS is such an interesting... Like, I love fighting games.
And clearly it wasn't successful because there isn't any ARMS character in Smash. I'm sorry to say that, but if the game was successful, they would have put an ARMS character in Smash.
Check back in a month and we'll see.
They're not... ARMS was just
calling it right now.
So hyped. It was such a hyped game.
Like, it was the only thing that was coming out. You know, you're talking the first 3 months of the system, and it's like, this was what they had.
They thought they were going to pull another Splatoon. Nintendo thought they were gonna pull another Splatoon.
No, it's funny you
ARMS.
say that though, because like I really feel the approach of Splatoon was a heavy influence on the game.
Heavy.
Because to me, the selling point that really made me enjoy the game for like 100 hours was playing party mode, and that is totally a Splatoon thing. It's like matching you up with random people. You do quick matches. You might do different variety of matches. So
Yeah.
it was like something interesting in a fighting game.
Yeah.
Which I mean, with fighting games, you know if you're going to be into it or not.
Right.
If you're someone like me that grew up with fighting games and you love that stuff,
You're gonna.
and hopefully you have someone to play with. Because like if I didn't have someone to play this game, like I wouldn't have
you
really spent much time with
Right.
it either. But like since I did, I got a ton of fun out of it. And that's what can happen with some games too, is like
It just dies out.
I'm sure you guys have experienced, like, it may not be the best game, but you're playing with your best friend, and that makes it
That makes it
the
fun.
best game.
Right? Because
So
like
that's
even
what worked for me. With
even when
ARMS.
we're playing Mario Party,
yeah,
like it's
totally.
like the new one. It's not the best. But when we're all in there,
It's fun.
rolling
It's-
the dice, playing the board game, you know,
Well,
laughing at messing up and like.
To me, like the ultimate test of that is a Nintendo Land. If you were an early adopter of the Wii U and you had Nintendo Land, like it is the dumbest game, but it's the most fun you can have.
Nintendo Land was.
You're literally chasing one person is being chased by the other players. That's it, and it is so fun. I've had
And you
so
don't
much fun.
stop playing it. Like I remember when the Wii U came out, my brothers and I, we were all playing the Mario Chase.
It's so
It's
dumb,
the
but
stupidest game. And it's
you're
like,
literally playing not even like tag. It's just chase.
No, it's Chase.
I had so much fun. And then at the end of the game, you get to see the guy like.
Yeah, and you get to
like
see all your tracks at the end, and this looks so dumb. And it's
There was
just-
other games in it that were pretty
Oh,
legit
gosh,
though.
yeah.
Like the Zelda game was pretty sweet. Like the Pikmin thing was pretty sweet. Like there was some
Pikmin.
good stuff in there, but it's like that to me is such an example of like simple game design where it's focused on having fun and it's just playing with people in the room.
You just summed up Nintendo.
Well, yeah, that's a big part of their success and why we love it so much. Like I know for me, like talking about stuff we're looking forward to, obviously
Right.
Smash Brothers.
Right.
Smash Brothers like gets me more hyped than anything. They have incredible production put
And-
into just trailers. Like their trailers are so sick.
They're-
Just to announce a character and then never use that again. It's like that is so good, but I'm looking for something that's like a little bit different, like something that's really like I identify with the Switch specifically,
Right.
and that was what ARMS was. Also, shout out to Pocket Rumble too for being a sick fighting game. Super simplistic, but if you like old school stuff, $10 fighting game, dude, like you just can't beat it.
Right.
So
So
the
now
future.
I think it's time to transition into the what we're excited for that's coming out, and obviously the number one for me, and probably Jack as well, is.
Well, you
Animal
got the heavy
Crossing.
hitters. Well, yeah. I thought we were gonna say like for this year, it's like you got Let's Go,
Well,
and then you got Smash. It's like those are two
we are
bangers, just like
right. Those,
done.
I
But yeah,
mean,
Animal Crossing to me is the next step. Like it has the potential to be
some
whatever we want it to be. I mean, we'll take the same game. I will take New Leaf again, but
right on the. I will take
what
New Leaf
you
on the
could
Switch.
do,
Oh man.
unbelievable. Like we talked about, trying to do this video format and talking about that game is like we want to build a community of people where we can
Right.
share stuff, where we can talk together, where
Right.
we can like feel like we're in this experience together.
And Animal Crossing.
And you
can
get a
provide
bit of that with Splatoon. Like they tried
Oh,
to
yeah.
create that hub world, and that's really cool.
I like.
But
that.
like, let's go deeper into that.
Right.
Like, let's
Right.
feel like
Let's-
when I'm booting up this game, I'm going into this world with everybody,
Right.
and we get to all play
And have a good.
and
time
have our
together.
own thing. But then we get to share stuff. Like that is so cool. Especially with like as Nintendo fans, we've always kind of like congealed together, feeling like it's us against everybody else.
Yeah.
Because if you're somebody that's from the outside that doesn't like understand what's fun about Nintendo, like you kind of are like, what? But for us, it's like, oh, you remember that thing, and then you have an instant connection with somebody,
Right.
whether it's Pokemon or
Oh,
Mario or Zelda.
And speaking of Pokemon, this Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee. So I don't play Pokemon Go. I used to when it first came out.
As everyone,
But this game just, it feels like it's really going to be the next level of Pokemon. Like, and it's just the tease. And that's what I feel like this really is. It's just a tease into what
Right.
they're going to bring us next year for the Pokemon franchise.
well, then they can do like the more traditional, hardcore, new generation next
Right.
year. This one, which I think we kind of forget, is like We grew up on Pokemon.
This
like,
is
we
what
were there
Pokemon
from the
is.
beginning.
Right.
So we've always had a love for it, and we've seen it evolve. This is how people can jump in as their starting point for Pokemon and get to enjoy everything, plus have these new things that are going to make it more accessible to them.
And the Pokeball feature, too, I just love that. I love how you can carry this Pokeball with you and your Pokemon's in there. Like,
Right.
I just... When
bringing Pokemon into the real world,
dude,
just like Pokemon
Heart Gold and Soul Silver, when they had that little Pokeball thing,
dude.
just like was so, and you could like.
Well, also having the guy follow you around the whole time.
Oh my gosh, it's
that's
killer.
A great return.
It's like, see, as a Pokemon fan, I want to see Pokemon as the television, the TV series.
Yeah.
The TV series really does it for me. Like, when I watch the TV series, when I watch the movies of Pokemon,
It's goofy, but it's
that's how I want a Pokemon game to be. You travel with friends, you go through, and you go to, you don't have, it's not like you have to go here, 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 here. No, just let it be, just let it flow. Let it flow.
Yeah, I like that
That's
idea.
really what I want to see with Pokemon. And that's kind of what they were doing with Sun and Moon. It was kind of like
It was way more story driven. And you like had to sit there and watch the characters interact. They were like giving you context for why you were doing stuff.
But you were with, it was kind of
You
like
and your
it was
friends.
baby steps. It was baby steps into what it could be. Because I'm thinking they could do a Pokemon game that's online and have like a map like GTA or Breath of the Wild that's so big.
Well, Pokemon is such another, like with Animal Crossing, it's like the potential ceiling is like infinite. But what they have to actually do is nothing.
And you've seen what Nintendo has done with this Breath of the Wild map. I mean, it's massive.
Right.
So you could put all the Pokemon regions and have this open world online game where you go into a server and you just play Pokemon like the TV show would be. You can go here, here. It doesn't matter. You just go out and
it's a journey. Yeah, more in the traditional like RPG sense, I would say.
I love that.
I like that idea too.
I would love to see that, and that's why I think Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is baby steps into that.
Because it's going to take a while to get to like what you're talking about. That's something that's like so many years of work to put into.
At least, yeah. And then look how long it took Breath of the Wild to come out.
True, right. And even like what you're talking about in terms of infrastructure and creating that world and community, like the Switch might not necessarily be the best platform for something like that, because that's kind of tends to be like an always online type of thing, which the Switch is not necessarily like.
But here's
if you
the
do
thing.
like cloud maybe, but
they're making us pay now.
Right.
They're making us pay just like Xbox and PlayStation.
Right.
So Xbox and PlayStation has that online community. It's always running. It's always on. There's games that are always running, constantly running.
But it doesn't feel like I don't pay for the other services.
Right.
But in this case, it feels like I'm not paying an online fee. I'm paying like the Nintendo tax because I love them so much. Like, I want to play Splatoon online, obviously. Like, and I would love to play Smash Brothers in the future online. So like that feature kind of needs to be there for me. But I don't think of it as like paying for online. I just think of it as like, oh, I love you, Nintendo. Here, take some more money.
$20.
Yeah, like I'll see you next year. You know. Versus like with the other ones, it feels more like they're reaching into my pocket, I guess. But they're also providing cool stuff too, and their service is obviously way better because they actually have functions that you need to play online.
They have like, online chat parties. It's just as simple as that.
Well, like, it blew my mind that you told me that Fortnite has it in, and it's like nobody else can do it.
Fortnite has their own built-in chat system. They got around the Nintendo system and put their own chat system in there. Fortnite, good job.
And you plug it right into the Switch, and it's like, Nintendo's
and
like,
it works.
No, we're not going to do that.
And it works.
And they even came out and said recently, like, yeah, everybody has their smart device on you, so that's just the most convenient thing. No, it's not. There's no way you can convince anyone that adding an extra element is going to be more convenient. It's just simply not. So it's just one of those, like, speeches where you're like, come on. We know better, you know better. We don't have a problem giving you $20 for the online, because, like, I understand that. But don't try to tell me that this is the best way it can be. Right. You know it isn't, I know it isn't. But, I mean, I'm not exactly sure what the problem is, why they wouldn't, but
well,
that's not a huge deal.
Because we don't even have themes yet on the Switch.
Right.
Which is something that's huge
also,
in the 3DS
using
community.
your words again, baby steps. Let's just take these little steps that you already did on other systems that made them interesting. And we talked about last time about the, I can't even think of the name of it, Miiverse.
Right.
that type of thing where it's like building the community, building the communication systems, and allowing us to feel like connected together as Switch users. Let's bring that stuff back so we can feel more connected as a community.
Right, and that's really what Nintendo is. They like to take baby steps, which I'm totally fine with as a Nintendo fan.
Well, they've kind of come like leaps and bounds, it feels like.
Well,
now.
ever since, well.
So you're feeling
think about it. When the Switch was being released, they put 2 million consoles out. And that's it.
Yeah. I mean, even in terms of numbers, that's a huge.
That's how scary that's how scared they were. It was just they didn't know.
Well, it was very uncertain. I mean, going into it, I definitely was very concerned. I was like, this feels like the Wii U again for whatever reason. I mean, obviously I was totally wrong, and I think I was just more scared.
Right.
Because it was like. But also going along with that and kind of going to my thought for the future, what I want to see is like, I didn't want to see a Nintendo where all they had was one thing. I wanted to see Nintendo with the console and handheld.
Right.
That's me being an old Nintendo fan that always had that because it was such a beautiful way to fill the gaps for me because I had my GameCube. When there wasn't a GameCube release, there was probably something to play on GBA.
Right.
So it was like they had something else to play and kept me interested. Now, is that future a possibility? Does it even make sense anymore?
I think it does.
I don't know.
Because
it does to me.
I love the 3DS, and I'm glad that's staying around.
Because that's what my thing I thought of, what I want to see in the future. Like, of course I want to see Breath of the Wild or whatever Zelda 3D next, but I want to see a 2D Zelda. I want to see the next evolution of what was traditionally thought of as the handheld Zelda, 2D, or whatever you want to call it. I want to see that next game.
Right.
How they do that, that's going to be really tough. But like, I really don't want to see that go away.
Nintendo.
Also going along with that, the 2D Mario. Like, we're getting new Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe, I believe is the name, which is so silly, but it's a fun, like, I like the 2D Mario. You know, I don't want to see that go away either.
Well, of course it's not, but I mean, they could have just came out with a new game and used the same Wii U thing, but I mean, that's Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, it's going along with everything else, so it's like, okay, take a pass on it, but I don't want to see that stuff go away. Like, I like those other types of, like, designs for Mario and for Zelda. I hope that can still go forward. That's what I want to see.
Right.
Because I would just hate to see that go away. I just think that's still interesting.
Yeah. I mean, but Nintendo always surprises us, so you really never know what they're going to do.
Well, even say, like, in terms of Zelda, if they went the direction of mobile as being their different way of approaching a 2D one and do the touchscreen thing, because, like, I love Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks on the handheld. Like, again, it fits so well as the other Zelda.
Right.
You have your big one on the console and you have your small one.
And you have your small one when you want to pick up.
So I wouldn't be opposed to that either.
Right.
How you would approach it, that would be really tough in mobile. But that's kind of the part of the problem I see with this idea is, like, how can they make this to the consumer make sense? Because they're not willing to pay $10 on the phone. They probably wouldn't be willing to pay $60 on the console for this Zelda. So where is it going to fall?
Right. Makes sense.
So, I mean, it's kind of me being more concerned about it, but I'm hopeful, but that's really what I want to see in the future. Is I don't want to see the stuff that was traditionally handheld be swept away, because, I mean, in talking about Pokemon, that seems to be where we're heading. We're heading towards the Switch being the console for Pokemon spin-off games, for mainline games, and then we have the mobile device as being your other. So we're kind of having to see how they're going to go forward with this idea.
For sure. And it's going to be cool to see what they think of, what they do, what they don't do. It's just, you never know being a Nintendo fan. You really
don't. Like, there's so many things that are just like by the book. Of course this is a thing. Like the Mario thing. It's like, of course they're going to release that. Of course they're going to do sequels to stuff.
Of course.
But
it's like,
what are we not thinking about? That we want to see.
For sure.
So that's where ARMS comes from. That's where the 2D Zelda comes from. Because I'm like, these are the things that we're going to forget about. Like, people...
ARMS has already been forgotten.
Oh yeah, that already forgotten. Yeah, there's no question about that.
ARMS
but like 2D Zeldas, I don't think people are thinking about, like, what's the future for that. They're just thinking, like, what's Breath of the Wild 2 going to be?
Breath of the Wild.
Which I can't wait to see too, but like...
I'm already thinking Splatoon 3.
I know, right? But that was, well, I know I talked to you about this.
They can make
What
Splatoon.
do you do with Splatoon 3?
They can make Splatoon a Call of Duty.
So a yearly thing? Well, they could make any of their franchises yearly, but that's not going to be helpful for them or for us.
I mean, I just think...
Because you're going to lose quality and you're going to lose sales. That's just what's going to happen because you're putting out too much. But even in thinking about Splatoon 3...
Well, maybe like an every 2-year thing.
That seems more reasonable.
I think that would be cool.
But even then, I feel like it's too frequent. Because, I mean, if you were to talk every other year, that means there would be a new Splatoon next year. And how would you do that? Like, what would you do to make Splatoon 3 feel like a 3? Because 2 felt like a 2. It had so much added stuff, plus tweaked things that made it better.
And it looked better.
Yeah, yeah.
Without a doubt.
For sure. I mean, just the character designs, like, you can see
even
that
with
they
the
put
amiibo.
that much more...
I mean, you
can we do an episode about Amiibo?
Oh yeah, that could be.
I just want to talk about Amiibo again.
Oh, it's a big thing.
Don't forget about Amiibo, guys.
Yeah, that's big.
Well, Smash Brothers is coming back, so maybe we'll
We're
have to wait outside of stores
Amiibo.
again.
I thought we were gonna get ARMS Amiibo, but oh wait.
I would have had it in my collection.
Oh yeah, of course you would have. But like, so we want to hear from you guys too down below in the comments. You know, what games you guys are excited for in the future, what games you're not excited for, what games you're playing now. We just want to hear. We read all the comments. We enjoy reading.
Well, that's
comments.
what this is about. Like this is about. I mean, us talking. But talking to you guys,
and interacting with you guys, that's like a big thing.
I would love to know what you think about this stuff, or if you think I just have no clue what I'm talking about. Right. I would love to know.
Right.
Because it's like such a good resource to use. These people that are watching, like in any form of video that you do, like people have insight and jokes about your stuff that makes it that much better.
I love going through the comments.
Like the ARMS. People watched the ARMS video. They were immediately killing it with the comments.
The comments are fantastic, guys. You guys are really killing it with the comments.
Well, that's what's so cool about doing this. Is like we're just sitting here talking like we normally would, but we get to talk with you guys kind of indirectly, and then you might give us more ideas for what we can think about and talk about next week. So please, please, just do what you're doing.
Just keep down below. Just keep it going. Leave stuff down below in the comments. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed episode 2 of Duck Crossing. So, and I hope you guys are enjoying this series because I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and if you have any ideas of what you'd like to see or like for us to do, like this is pretty. Like we've only done 2 things, but this is us sitting on a couch talking. So
this is a very laid back series. And if you want to add into it, you know, we're going to be doing Q&As in the future and things, maybe even like live streams where we come on here live and just talk to you guys. I think that'd be really cool.
That is a fun part of doing the live streams is just seeing the people.
I think that's really cool. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, guys, I hope you enjoyed episode 2 of Duck Crossing. Remember to like and comment down below. Smack that subscribe button if you're new. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next episode.